Good day, people. I am Mr. Reason, a spiritual. I am writing a book. It's a philosophy in form of a love story. The thing is, nowadays people don't care about knowledge, right? So I came up with this idea of a lightweight romantic comedy, which people love. All it's a he-she conversation. They're only talking about important issues. I am writing my knowledge. Who makes our culture? The rich, right? Learning from planets, how they behave. So this is how we should form our culture. Which, how can people deny this, right? I showed this book idea. I spoke to the publishers in the book fair, and almost all of them were very supportive. I should explain about the book. Let me tell you about myself. So I live in isolation. Approximately 10 years ago, I quit the job for biggest American telecom. I lived in the mountains. I do daily long meditations. I live in this way to keep my thinking free from the lies and all that. That's the main reason I'm not breaking this isolation. See, writing is about awareness. Otherwise, for easy entertainment, there are enough videos and photos. So the culture is changing through commercialization. Everything is expected to produce money, and nobody wants to do the difficult thing. But writing is reading, so it's not easy. It's difficult, and why you do it at all if you are seeking entertainment even in the writing? So writing will die if writing is not stick to this purpose, that is to spread awareness. The way we look into everything, that it can produce money, it can give entertainment, it can be shallow. So leave it to the other industries, but not to the writing. Others are easy, they produce money, mainly the videos, photos thing. The reading process is not easy, so it will die. They won't die, they will transform. This will die if this also goes on the same path. The book name is Ramibook. Rami is a male, it's a celebrity girl I'm in love with. A guy needs some inspiration to do great things. So she came out as my inspiration. I have written like 2,000 pages of knowledge of non-fiction, ethical system. So the world runs by a system, a selfish one. So I wrote a replacement. Things run ethically, not how the selfish wants. After writing this ethical system, I came up with this Rami book, a fiction, a love story. In Rami book, I am giving her a free thinking. So, like she's saying, can you at least earn 2/3 of our income? And he's saying, let's shake on it. And I'm having the free thinking. She's representing the world. We don't want your spirituality. We want money. So, and I'm spiritually guiding her. Lifestyle we have, fear, dissatisfactory, and the happiness. It's very, it's very difficult for us, right? And not to mention that 90% of the population is poor. 10% is the rich. Rich is an upper middle class rich. So, everyone who is miserable, who have lack of resources, they're poor. Numbers can go up and down, of India, of this country, of that species, but the overall is 10% life of Earth rich. They keep all the resources, excessive resources, and the 90% are kept under their domination. So that number doesn't change. It doesn't change for thousands of years. That's the reality. It's bizarre. She is changing my own concepts about moksha, teaching me. She is showing me the significance of companionship. I'm letting her change my concepts about moksha. What kind of a spiritual guy lets a girl change his concepts about moksha? My book can bring world peace. I think it's the most intellectual book in India and one of the most important books in the world. A man can force his thinking on the world and then expect world peace. No, no, no. That's the way you make money. Domination is how you make money. If you want world peace, it's about social cooperation, but ethically. So if it's not ethical, then someone selfish will again establish in power, and world peace will not sustain. It's just a freedom, but a forced freedom. You know how freedoms are poor? That's how. That selfish, cleverly manipulating others, giving clever speeches, giving false dreams. His intention is to rule. His intention is to be powerful. His intention is not that they're miserable. Somebody has to take responsibility. Here's the thing. So I was in meditation. I was writing, but I was not going out to change the world. No. But when I lived in the mountains and I saw how easily, not the rich necessarily, but the powerful people, how easily they were exploiting poor people. And I came very close to living with them, near them, like the servants. I gained empathy. Previously, I was depressed for 2 years in my teenage because of the imbalance in the world about rich and poor. So it's not like I didn't have the empathy, but as I was growing up, I saw there is no chance of it. I will see my depression and think, look at this guy, look at this kid, he's suffering from the reality of the world. Let's make it an issue. No, that's not the reality of this adult world of humanity. So I changed to be the one to cooperate with this. So I cooperated with this using religion, the karma factor, that it's all karma. Let me tell you something. The moment, if a rich person donates 80% of his money, suddenly hundreds of thousands of poor people's life will suddenly change. Their luck will suddenly transform from a decision of one rich person. So it's not karma. This is what religion tells us. This is what religion does to make us cooperate with the poverty, because religion is not created by poor, it is created by rich. So 90% of the people can stay content in their poverty. They don't attack them. They don't say, how can you have all the resources? How can you have all this politics? We want the resources in balance. So we created religion that if you do violence, even against the evil, if you do violence, then you're a bad person, you will go to hell for millions of years. These numbers are so big in imagination. Then when an actual person comes up with logical ways of looking out for our soul, like me, then it's like people will think, oh, I know it. I hear these stories about this religion, that god, so I know these things, I already know, and they will start judging me. They live for money. They live a life of a coward. And they will start judging a person who is actually living for the soul, who is actually living spiritually. They will based on those stories. So that's the effect of their fictional religion. That's the effect of this of their religion. What religion does is makes people weak. So they do what you tell them. They follow your lead. And let me tell you something. Religion is not written by smart people. Smart people write, but then it is approved by the rich, and only those points which rich approves, they go into the book, they go into the public. So rich manipulates poor people, controls poor people, all 90% of the people, psychologically using religion. That's how religion was created. So we can tell people stories about millions of years. This is how the life will continue this way for millions of years. You will suffer in hell for millions of years. And then they will feel, I cannot take these type of risks. Anything I say, I say, a philosopher type of person will say, this will only improve my 100 years. This will only benefit my few 100 years. No, 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 no. I want millions of years. That's what religion does, to belittle everything realistic. Another thing, science. Science is also not good, because science creates nuclear weapons and all that. Science gives truth, but science also creates a lot of destruction. As long as we are selfish, we are not in a position to make big appeals. First, we have to become ethical and then seek life out of earth. First establish world peace. You see what I'm saying? I'm not selfish, and then try to influence out of earth. Knew what we are doing on earth. We continue it on Mars and on that planet, then you know what will happen? Wars between the planets. Our earth is finished. Our earth is gone. They will shoot a laser. They will they will be very freely, without any global laws of other countries. They will be very freely experimenting on destruction, on weapons. That's what humanity does. That's their main science work. So they will be freely experimenting creating a weapon strong enough to defend themselves. Not their intention will not to attack Earth. No, no, no. That's just what the smart people will observe. Their intention will be to defend themselves. And then in their defensive strategy, in their defensive mentality, they will destroy the Mother Earth. If it's ethical, it can be justified. To have empathy, to be fair. That's world peace. Participate in ethical transformation. I'll guide, I'm a spiritual guide. I'm able to free my thinking, and long meditations are about inner peace. It's not about greed. One more thing is I live in very unsupportive environment. Like when I went to the book fair, publishers were so supportive, right? So I felt very good. But until publishers, I was like, when I would tell someone whom I met, they were very unsupportive because they're not intelligent people. Like everyone ignored me. Like activists get ignored because they say the truth, and people they like the safety of ignorance. In the book fair, to the publishers individually, my legs are is damaged. Another concern is, since I live in very unsupportive environment, my aims are very high, world peace, right? So the impact falls upon my body because I refuse to lower my brain's capacity, my stress. I refuse to reduce it. So the impact falls upon the other thing, the body. I cannot do even normal things like just walk. I mean, I can walk, but I know the pain in the legs, and when I walked a lot in book fair, I was very badly injured because I had to return home in UP's unorganized poor public transportation, unsupportiveness behind my physical abilities. But I'm all mind. I think I can establish world peace. You would not believe such a statement, but like I told you, when I spoke in book fair with publishers, almost all of them were supportive. Gave me their visiting card, lots of conversation. I had to return home, so I could meet only few of them. Like almost everyone. The real impact I make is by my speaking. I was sending my book to publishers through email for years, no success. And then one time, spoke, everyone was supportive. All about speaking. I'm a spiritual, but not like the one on social media that I'm doing cooking and it's spiritual. No, no, no. I'm like real spiritual, to live for the soul. How can they compare cooking with living for the soul? I had a big job, I quit it, and now they're saying they're doing very loyally their job, and now they're spiritual. No, no, no. Spiritual means to overcome your body's desires and live for the soul. Even if you don't overcome, but that's the attempt. I meditate for the inner peace. It does not mean I'm inner peaceful all the time. No, no, no. This is the objective. In my teenage, I decided that moksha path is the best career choice. Quit it. I was like, let's drop it. It's too difficult. I can do it. But when I accomplished the big success, when I got the big job at only 22, then I realized unless I pursue the best career, I will know something else is better than this one. Therefore, I cannot be satisfied. And then I entered into spirituality at the age of 26. I made the big move entering into life of meditation. At the age of 24, I was almost taking sainthood, but I realized it's a social display. It's not for spiritual growth. So I dropped that idea. I mean, I retired indefinitely from pleasures so I can focus on peace. So I struggled into developing the habit of meditation. If you develop the habit, then it's easy. The thing is, if you skip it even one day, daily process skipping, then you will skip it again. That was very important message for me. In fact, it still is challenging sometimes, because when I lived in the mountains, I went there assuming that it's a mountain, it will be peaceful lifestyle. But no, every place, or no matter mountain or beach, it has a culture. State like UP, MP, every state has a culture. Why even on the mountains the culture is of the same? Because the same rulers who rule in the towns, in the cities, the same people, they rule the properties on the mountain as well. So they control everything. Like if you have to behave like this, otherwise you'll get fired. If it's Bihar, Jharkhand, you assume, oh, there are lots of mountains, it will be peaceful. It will be peaceful if you go as a tourist, if you keep paying them. But if you go for the living, then you will have to face Bihar Jharkhand culture, the exploitation, the corruption, the all about money, all about money. They talk about money all the time on the mountains. So people, reality is very harsh. Okay, reality of humanity is nothing less than evil. 90% are poor. What more do you want to know? That humanity is not on the right path. Only things that can produce money are promoted. Everything is changing from money's point of view. There was a time then factory excessive CO2, but only they were giving the jobs, because big people, corporations, they invest in these evil plans. What happens is, so they ask you to study C programming. You study 6 months, 1 year, and then suddenly you find out now it's Java. 80% of the jobs are in Java, only 20% of jobs are in everything else. So what happens to C programming? Fine, then you start studying Java. Then what happens? 2 years later, it's about AI. Now what will happen to my study of Java? Whatever. So system is not for everyone. System is for the 10%. Only the top. Others live in misery. Everyone, system is to support the 10%, because it's about rule, it's not about a common peace. System is for rich living happily and everyone else working for rich. They're dying, they're having this problem, that problem. System is not for them. Since they are competing with each other, they have to maintain some laws. Otherwise, they won't remember the old times. Not remember, you and I, we were not there, but we study history. So in dictatorship times, they killed lots of poor people. So dictatorship got exposed. So people came up with this idea of democracy. What rich people do is they compete with each other, and we are their workers, and they use girls to seduce us. This is the youth, so exclude the rich girls, housewives who aspire to be housewives. So remove them as well. Rich males are also excluded. So all the non-rich minus aspiring housewives. These many people, this youth is the target, is the working class. So the culture is, if you participate in living selfishly, then system is very good to you. System is like you will have a comfortable life. But otherwise, if you want to do anything out of the system, that I am trying to bring the balance, I am trying to live in a balance, then you will suffer. Not live a normal life, not live a life of not greed. I entered into isolated life, spiritual life. I still had writings, I still could work, but the terms were given to me were exploitive. When I lived in the mountains, that manager made me carry my own luggage from the town to the mountain. Even though there were vehicle roads and professionals who would do that, it was a proper hard labor. People, the house of theory of Harry Potter ruling is true. If you're too decent, you're the most powerful being. Humanity will enslave you. The decent who do not accept to be corrupt, like lies. I cannot lie because I'm a spiritual. I'm on the path of moksha. I'm not gonna sacrifice my moksha journey for humanity like me, the decent ones. We are exploited. That's the truth, people. Let me tell you something. Bad people are doing their job. The good people are told through religion, through laws, don't fight for good. Don't defend good. Don't send your message out in the world that we should unite. They have violence, we have unity. Don't send these messages. Don't threaten rich. Good people are asked to stay silent, do your own spiritual journey. Just tell them personally improve yourself. That's the difference between real spiritual and religious lecturers. They are in the part of the system. I went into a religious thing. They make the religious guru to cooperate with the rich person. Otherwise, that religious guru will lose his position. If he bothers the rich employer, he will be out of his job. So his job is to protect the rich person. He cannot speak against rich. He can criticize in a different way that people will not follow. So you see, it's all manipulation. I didn't have a cell phone. I quit these things in 2019, but recently, in 2025, I bought a small keypad phone, because I was trying to influence. I was trying to send my message out. It's always off, but sometimes for emergencies, like when I went to book fairs, are badly. Like I do suspect legs. I will lose my legs because of the unsupportive, because I refuse to reduce pressure on here. I'm willing to sacrifice myself. I'm willing because I am a spiritual. I don't consider quantity of life. I consider quality of life. People have to support. Otherwise, I'm not gonna sacrifice myself for evil. No, I'm gonna sacrifice myself for innocence. So people have to participate in world peace. And another thing, people compare me with Osho because I'm Jain and I also break tradition. And look at Osho, people were criticizing him a lot, but foreigners were understanding him. And now people are like, he's the best spiritual ever because I'm very outspoken, very reasonable. I'm led by reason. I prioritize moksha because I see reason in it. Because I want to be established as the Osho's successor. Why? Because I think this is the way I can establish world peace as a spiritual, not as a businessman, not as a writer, not as this, that. So I'm not regular with internet, phone. World peace can only establish if we proceed ethically. And the ethical way is to accept the help from the right person, not making him do the wrong thing. First, cooperate with our rules. No, 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 no. Your rules are not your rules. Your rules are culture forces its rules on you and you think that it's your rules. Girls, they're spoiled, but they don't choose this. Rich people, they spoil girls and then make the boys. We are seduced and we work. Book Rami character, she teaches me these things. I don't pursue knowledge. I pursue character. Knowledge gets rewarded. How did I find out? When I write, especially through Rami, because Rami is putting girls' side and I'm putting boys' side. So she is opening my mind about these things, that moksha, female companionship is required. Otherwise, how will I discuss my own theories? How will I get clarity in life? In 11th class, I decided that moksha path is the best career. But I decided that it's too difficult. I have weaknesses, I have flaws, I have character flaws. So let's do it in old age or maybe next life, not now. A job at age 20, 1.5 years later, I achieved a big success. I was very ambitious. I was using this thing. I was a thinker. People criticize thinker. My friends used to say that you overthink everything, but I didn't change it. The way everything. School age, everyone was proceeding for their lives. How I will live my entire life. Not me. I was still processing. I was not falling into greed. And I was still respecting the process. First, you have to know. First, you have to weigh the options. You have to know about the world, what you want to do, what is the nature of various career options. How can a kid know these things? Who has not entered into the reality of the world? He is under protection of his parents. His parents can make the decision, and that's not fair because a child says various things to his friends, not to his parents. So the parents, they think they know the child, but you can't know your best friends. They know you the best because you share your truth, most truth with them. All of this is just a mass, right? What we need is a world peace. So things can run ethically. Not how the rich want, not how the powerful want, how it makes sense. It's not one thing. See, ethic is not like I am forcing these rules. To have empathy and to be fair. Ethical systems introduction runs by a system. Is forced into doing things that society will accept. A father does not want his son to follow these specific rules, but he does this because he is also forced into doing this by someone else. So this is the chain of command. Father doesn't want to do this. He loves the son. He wants the son to be happy, to have freedom. So I wrote ethical system. No more that the selfish will 10% will be happy, rich, traveling internationally, ruling us and calling their ordering us AC, from AC rooms that work, and us changing our strategies as they wish. We show them that non-cooperation, we will be fired immediately. Girls, those who want to be spoiled are happy, and those who want to work are looked down. Another solution for this spoiled girl problems is decent does not exercise violence. We exercise unity. Don't respect them. They will choose, do I want this type of lifestyle that nobody respects me except my own kind or the rich. That's the limitation. Acknowledge them, be a rich guy's wife, and leave my own wealth guy unmarried. Everyone can be rich, right? Only the 10% can. So what happens to the others? They suffer. Stephen Hawkins, that if you put too much pressure on your mind, then your body just slowly decays. It's kind of like that. I personally think, I mean, I can recover, but I know unsupportiveness keeps on spreading in me, and I will keep on getting damaged if I reach that point that it cannot be reverted. Be brave, people. Have empathy. Covered a lot of points. Thank you.